things. I'll give you an example.
Yes.
At the age of 25, I quit drinking. Right? I refused to take pombe anymore.
Something
because
happened.
now I said, no, nothing happened.
There's always a testimony behind it, but...
No, nothing happened. I just wanted to change my lifestyle. I was tired that every weekend, every sijui what, tuko hapa Sagre, tunakula nyama, tunakunywa, sijui one club after the other. In fact, even in this building, there was another club I used to come to here called Lux.
Hapa,
this building. Yes. I'm on the next one, I can't remember.
Yes, yes.
Now, I can tell you, at 25, that meant that the friends I had at 25, my age mates, now started dissipating because I was no longer the fun person when you joined them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you start looking for a different conversation. People who are at a different level. At 25, the people I was associating with were beyond 40. Yes. And the greatest thing with that is that I learned lessons very fast. Because you sit around, you ask me about mentorship.
Yes.
You sit around and hear and absorb things from people who've had experience. So you get vital life lessons. By the time I was 30, generally in comparison to my age mates,
yes,
I was doing very well.
Okay.
Very well. I had a life that was focused and disciplined. I was trying to actuate a direction. Okay?
Okay.
So it depends on one's personality. You can achieve it below the age of 52. But you must work on self.
There's nothing
self.
Like you are born like that.
No. There's luck. In everything, there's also luck. Right? But luck is an extension of ability. You must put in the effort and luck comes. You must be present somewhere in the marketplace and luck comes.
Mentorship also played a very big role.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. You know, apart from mentorship is also just understanding what goes on in the world,
Yes.
through other people's eyes. Right? It opens you up phenomenally. Because what you think is a straight line, you realize is not necessarily that straight. And there are a lot of gaps and opportunities that you can seize.
And as a young man, as a 25-year-old, and even for the people watching, how do you, what's the frame of mind that you need to create for yourself to be able to hang out with someone almost twice your age and they will, to benefit from that engagement?
You've got to be a good listener. You've got to, in your own self, be somebody that people feel you actually are seeking growth. Because if they genuinely feel it, they'll keep you around.
There are things in your experience that keep people poor, right? Already you've said that being employed sort of is you trading your dreams for a small token of appreciation. There's also this conversation of what really wealth means. Whether you should, things that keep people poor, what wanasemanga, first of all, buying a car. Nowadays, the conversation has changed to buying a house. In your experience and your vast experience in business, what's the sure bet way to stay poor?
To stay I will tell you, flossing here, vijana. That one, I can assure you, if you think you are going to live on the basis of your image to other people, that is the worst. Because that's when you get into those buying cars, buying all those things that consume your money. A car, you take it out of the showroom, it depreciates in value. It depreciates in value. The minute you drive it out, even if you try and sell it there, you get less than you had paid for the showroom.
Yes.
Those are consumers. Even a house that you stay in consumes. The only appreciation you have is that if you bought well, then the value of land will appreciate. So when you sell later, there's value. And there's also the sense of security. If you own your own house, it's better than if you're renting. But anything that is consuming, that is not adding, you're in trouble. So live within your means. But I don't want you to forget something. One must get over their needs, must achieve their wants.
So that they can.
Because I mean, life must be kidogo enjoyable. You can't just say I'm living just to eat.
But living your means you accept.
Even if you're eating food today, you must say, even hata ile niliona kuna another samaki being made somewhere that looks very good. I want that one. Sindio? Tasty food. You upgrade kidogo.
Living within your means you have accepted that you are poor.
No. You must achieve a goal in your life. And you must have the mentality in your life.
Okay.
I must overcome my needs.
Okay.
And I'm capable. God gave me a brain and physical health to overcome my needs.
Okay.
My needs are also including health. And I must have an achievement to get my wants. The little things that make us happy. Hata ile pombe you drink on the weekend, that's a want. You don't need it.
Okay.
Okay? Then you must reach a level of going for your dreams. You must reach that level. And it comes, as you were saying, from mentality.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Firstly, understand that we are all born capable. And in God's eyes, we're all born equal. Right?
Yes.
But with different environments.
Yes.
Okay? But even in that environment,
yes,
if you have self-worth and discipline, putting God first, there's nothing you cannot achieve if you are determined. And this knowledge is at our fingertips. It is there. Yeah. Food is something that will never go away. It's a need, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's a need. Higher. Then in the same food, there is also medicine. That is now become a need in the world. There are very many things you can grow that are medicine. So you're satisfying needs. You see, just like you as a human being, you want to overcome needs, wants, and dreams. That is also your circle. Right?
That's where
so I think is. That's what business is. What are your needs? You need water. You need food. You need air. What else do you need? You need health. Right? Yeah. So if I have got biashara, I think, am I in the needs? Am I going to sell you needs? Am I going to sell you food? Am I going to sell you health? Am I going to sell you water? Correct? Yes. Then you go to wants. Your nice three-piece suit. That's a want. It's not a need.
And that also explains rejection, because once you
Correct.
understand the needs, you don't have to struggle.
You don't have to struggle. Once you've got needs, then you go to wants. Wants is also biashara.
If you target a needs environment with a product of wants,
you'll lose. Fail. You'll fail.
If you target a wants market with a needs product,
market, you fail.
You lose.
Yes. Now, for example, food at needs is maybe ugali. All right?
Yes.
Food at once is lobster. So if you have, it's still food, yes, but now it's wants. So now you have a community that has wants. In other words, they have more purchasing power.
Yes, yes, yes.
So now they don't want to just eat ugali. They also want to eat lobster and want to eat these fine things of life. All these nice pastas they see being made. Now, if you target them and there's big enough market, you thrive because many people are in wants. Then dreams become another avenue.
Yes, yes.
Right? What are people's dreams? Do they want to be tourists all over the world? So if you're catering for that, do they want to go on a plane, a luxury yacht? What do they want? Those are dreams. If you cater for that and there's a big enough market, you will get it. 6 out of 10 are in needs. Needs. What are the needs? Food, water, shelter, and you. Needs.
Okay.
Right? So only 4 are probably in the wants. How many are those and where are they? So you do your demographics. This is something even supermarkets do everywhere. There are some markets, they have bigger stores, other smaller stores. And the items they stock, depending on the area, they know. Here, people's purchasing power is this much. There, it is higher. All right? So they stock that way.
So
they position that way.
Kitu sikudanganya ati you go there and unasema hapa hakuna supermarket, inakaa nikileta supermarket hapa itaweza.
Unajidanganya.
Hapa hakuna car wash, I will bring a car wash. I've never seen a car wash.
How many people have cars there? How many people have cars? Who care for that car wash? Yeah. Okay. You are pricing yourself out. So understand where you are. So that's why my advice, since we are 6 out of 10 poor,
yes.
Needs.
Okay. Thank you for being kind enough to share your time with us.
Asante.
It's one of the most valuable resources that you've ever gifted us.
Asante
and the
sana.
Wicked Edition family.
Daktari, thank you for inviting me. It's been great being here.
Karibu.
Asante sana.
Karibu tena na tena. Asante sana.
God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you. That's it for the Weekend Edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.
Step up to more fun and get more than you pay for. Upgrade now and get boosted to the next package for free. Dial *423# or call 0711 066 000 and upgrade to the next level for free.
For those who do not have this machine at home, let's show them what they can do at home to warm up.
Some air skips. 3, 4. Okay.
So 30 seconds for each warm up workout.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we go like as if we're jogging. This workouts a lot of the tummy and also the lower body. So skaters, we do this way. You make sure you stretch all the way back. You step back. You stretch all the way back. Do it up, but try to do it from down. Okay, let's go. 1, come on. 2. Are you feeling?
It's not as easy as it looks.
It's not as easy
as it looks.
Guys. So give me some counts. 3. Come on. 5. Give me that. 6.
I've heard a lot of people who worked out for a long time. They say, I ate 10 eggs in the morning, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Because there's also protein, so they eat that to like build the muscle.
Build muscle.
Personally, I do that.
NTV, turning on your world.
Hello. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. My name is Amina Abdi Rabai. I am your host. The show is called TTTT, where we get to talk about as many trending stories as we possibly can. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes 5, sometimes 7. We don't know. So let's find out how many we'll get to talk about today. There's so many things that have happened this week, and I think the highlight of it all being all of the femicide cases that we have been seeing all week long. So that, of course, we're going to talk about. Our handle at The Trend Live. The hashtag is TTTT. So let's get straight into it. These are some of your trending stories. Parents of St. Gabriel Isongo Secondary School in Mumias chased the principal from his office due to dissatisfaction with the poor KCSE 2023 results. A vehicle carrying fish overturns along Nairobi-Nakuru Road. I can't believe guys are saying, oh, sasa ya mkate yanguke, mambo ikue shega. Stick around for more. A man was caught on camera stealing laptops from a conference room at a hotel in Westlands while the attendees had left. It's the courage for me. It's the courage. So confident. All right, so let's get to meet our panelists. Hello, Mariam. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Daddy Mato. What's good, my people? How are you guys?
Hey, Beyonce.
Hi. I pay Cindy.
It's the Renaissance tour. It's the Renaissance tour for me.
Right? The silver is just like, yeah, we're going to see the
we're gonna see Renaissance. I like it. No, honestly, by the way, these are all very genuine compliments I receive. It just only sounds like they're gassing me up. No. Or are they? We don't know.
She pays us.
Imagine just take the compliment. Take the compliment.
Mimi wacha niseme Mr. Producer Ndenga, I got my eyes on you.
Oh.
Me, I feel set up, but it is well.
Why do you feel set up?
We shall find out in a few.
Oh, we'll find out. Oh, is he in one of the stories? What's going on? All right, so we'll find out why Mato is being set up. But starting things off, like we said, this has been a very sad week. And not only for women in Kenya, but we have also seen so many cases across the continent. What a sad week as 20-year-old Rita Waeni Muendo was killed and the body dismembered by an unidentified man who had rented the Airbnb house number B1 located on the first floor of the Greenhouse Apartments, which had been rented by a middle-aged man who did not give his particulars at the time of renting the house. The story has since created an uproar on the interwebs. Let me start off with Cindy. Cindy, it's so unfortunate that we've talked about cases like these and stories like these throughout the time that I've been on the show, and it's still happening.
It's still happening. It's so sad what has happened. Our condolences go to the family. I think it is such a bizarre case because of how she passed on. She was dismembered. Her head still cannot be found. And I just wonder how the family was able to identify her in pieces. It's a kind of trauma that you can't even fathom. And this coming so close to Esther Wahu, who, you know, died in the Airbnb. So, of course, it's a clarion call to all young ladies out there just to be a little bit careful. When you meet people on the interwebs, we're all free to mingle if you're single. But sometimes you just need to do extra checks because clearly it's not safe out there. Now, Soko Imearibika. Jesus!
Yeah.
It's
the name
so bad.
is actually Scarlett Cindy. But you see, last time
not Esther,
when we were
Scarlett
talking
Wahu,
about this, last time we said, why do we constantly caution women only? Where do the men come in?
It's so sad, but unfortunately, that's just how it goes. You know, I was explaining to my husband that at night, when I walk in the streets of Nairobi at night, I have to be extra cautious. Like, why? Yeah. And I'm like, it's different for me. And he doesn't get it. Because for me, if somebody, for example, brushes up close to me and maybe touches me inappropriately, he's always like, why don't you make noise? The odds are always against us. I could make noise. He could turn and be physical against me. He could pin me to a corner, gag me, and do something worse. You know,
others could join in.
Exactly. So, you know, for us, because we only have ourselves to protect, we can't now say, okay, guys, do this. And yes, men should also step up and stop the femicide. But as women, we now just have to be extra cautious because clearly now our guard is up and nobody is out there to protect us.
I don't know if it's a disagreement. Of course, as a woman, you will never live the same life or walk the same way, you know, that men do in the streets or wherever. But as far as cautioning women to be more careful, there is really no place that is safe for women. The femicides that we've seen in the last perhaps week or so have taken place in rental houses, rental units. But statistically, most women are murdered by their partners, by their family members in their homes. There is really no place that is safe for a woman. There is no caution you can take that would protect you from this kind of violence, I think, at the end of the day. I feel like if we do not, the men are the ones who need to stop the violence. There's no safety precaution women can take that will stop what's happening. I know there's a march happening next week. I don't know beyond that, you know, what we can do, what laws need to be implemented, how to make Kenya safer for women, and in general, the continent. But I will also say that it's telling of the times we're in economically as well. Yeah. When things go down the drain, it's women who suffer the most because there's this anger and then there's entitlement to women's bodies and to women's time. And then there's, you know, accusations here and there. It just all turns into something very, very ugly and very sad. Yeah. But of course, our condolences to everyone who's lost someone to femicide, and especially in the gruesome way that happened in the last perhaps few weeks. But I'll say it's the men to stop killing women, harming women. There's no place that is really safe for women. It's not the home. It is not the streets. It is not in school. It doesn't exist.
And it's not on social media.
Not on social media for sure. It doesn't exist.
Can I throw a spanner in the works and just throw it out there as a bone of contention? Because, you know, sometimes it's always good to look at the flip side. What happens, Mariam, and I'd be interested to know your thoughts on this, of course, Mato as well. But what happens if the woman was in a business, willing buyer, willing seller, and this guy picked her up online? This is hypothetical, by the way. Yeah. What advice would you give when guys are like, but she asked for it? This is, you know, this is part of the trade.
Even a sex worker does not, no woman deserves to go through that,
no
right?
man or woman.
Sorry? No
I'm
man
saying
or woman, yes, you're right. I think regardless of career, like there is no what ifs or anything. No woman deserves to have harm come by them. If someone is a sex worker, that is it. That is what they do for a living. It doesn't mean that they're consenting to be murdered. I don't know, some of these things, I think we try to find excuses or explanations, but really it's just meant stop killing women. I think it's as simple as that.
But I think Cindy's asking what precaution then does someone in that line of work take? Because you are going to encounter random people all the time. But Mato hasn't spoken. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yes, Mato.
This is the setup I was talking about as the only man in the panel.
Okay.
All right. So there are definitely feelings and opinions on both sides of the divide, and each are very polarized. Whether you say stop killing women, there are people who will jump up and say men die as well. Then there are those who say protect women, and then there are those who will say we women don't need protection, we just need you men to stop killing us. They are all polarized, and unfortunately what this conversation is doing, it's driving the wedge between what men and women should be together. There is a match. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and the concern was, what is the match about? The hashtag is stop killing women. This is my opinion. Yes, we need to stop killing women. Those who are killing women should stop killing women. But I think what needs to be further in this conversation is, because what is happening on social media is most men, a lot of men talking on social media are of the opinion that these women that were killed deserved to be killed. That is the wrong approach to take, and that is what should be fought against.
Right.
The men should not be saying that these women deserve to be killed. Women are fighting and saying, stop killing us. There are men who are saying, we should protect women. And then there are women who are saying, it's not about protection. We should not feel there needs to be protected. Okay?
Yeah.
I can't say when the quote-unquote patriarchy began. But since the beginning of time, the man has been there to offer provision and protection. The Stone Age man was protecting in whatever capacity, whether from another man from coming into his house or from the lions and the dinosaurs from doing the protection element was there, and the woman took it. But in the times that we're living in, there is need to say we don't want the men to do anything, kaini huko, but we still need to be okay, and we still need to feel safe. Can we agree that one, the men should stop feeling or saying that the women deserve to be killed no matter what they do, because there are men who do stupid things and they also die in the line of the things that they are doing. Okay, does this mean that they also deserve to die? No. Okay, and then secondly, the polarization on both sides is just, it will continue driving the wedge between the quote-unquote feminism and chauvinisms that we have in the times that we're living in, and wokeism and cancel culture, etc. We are just going to find ourselves killing each other at the beginning to the end of the day, and nobody is going to get the help that they need.
Yeah, but finally, women, the juju that is going on in this country, let me tell you, I'm superstitious. Me, I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience. Pull your ears, ladies. Not everything is about glitz and glamour. This is now not a Tina. Oh, this is now another topic. Kidogo matobu. See, anze hapa sasa stories za nini, za paragraph. Ladies, pull your ears. That is all I am going to say about that.
All right. Okay.
Just to add.
There is just to add. All right.
Kidogo. Because initially the conversation was Kenyan men need to stop killing Kenyan women. Men wakasema they deserved it. And then another came, the second story came, it was actually not a Kenyan man who was killing the Kenyan woman. Okay, now it's become just men, stop killing women. And then the men, they deserved it. Then another story came, there was a woman who was beheaded while she was just cooking ugali. Oh, so now it's not about what they were doing, it's just the men killing women. Okay, you know, there will always be something.
That's the point that I think sometimes we wonder.
Men killing women.
Yes, you know, and we wonder why it's so difficult for, you know, a lot of men to comprehend. And that story, rightfully, as you have given it as an example, she was murdered. I think it was sometime this week. I don't know if it was an old story. Most of us saw it this past week. A woman who was beheaded while she was cooking ugali. She wasn't dressed in any type of way. She wasn't going anywhere looking for something, which is the big misconception that people think guys are doing. However, I'd love to hear from you. At The Trend Live, the hashtag is TTTT. There's so much that has been said all week long, and I'd love to hear from you. So do tweet us, and we'll read your tweets after the break. Now, as we go on with the next story, a man was caught on camera stealing laptops from a conference room in a hotel in Westlands. While the attendees had left, this guy decided, it is my chance. So CCTV cameras recorded the robbery incident, and the timestamp on the video indicates that it happened in the afternoon. The suspect was spotted arriving at the location in Westlands on a boda boda and carrying a backpack. The suspect was then spotted approaching the entrance, which was being manned by a security officer. So there it is. It's a confidence. Listen, you have to be courageous. Mariam, I don't know why you're holding in that laugh.
It's because he's so confident. You know, you see things in the movies about like how con men move, or how, you know, thieves move and sleight of hand tricks and things like that, and you're like, wow, but it doesn't clock to you that that's real. Until I saw this guy, he walked with purpose. He had a mission. He had somewhere to go, and it looked like he had serious business to transact in that building. Yes. He was not coming to mess around. And then the way he carried them also, Hatetemeki, he's just like fast, but not panicky fast. Fast enough to get the job done, but not fast enough to like draw attention or make a mistake or drop a laptop or something. He's done this before. It's audacious. I don't know. There's a part of me that's slightly impressed at the audacity, you know. I'm like, wow. Why did you practice this?
He was walking with a mission, though. You know, usually there's this, he didn't stop to like say hi to the guard. He was like, nope, maybe he might memorize my face. I don't know what.
But his face is all over CCTV now.
Oh, I'm like, now, yeah, but I'm talking about the guard.
He has this look that Mato sometimes pulls when... no, it's a guy look when it's an almost half, you know, like an almost half cuff nini with the eye, the Nikmutuma face, you know, with the eyebrow like this.
Smizing.
He's smizing.
Oh my God!
Like, this guy looks like Mato. Before Mato does those two ads of his where he pockets Mato aje bad. If you see men like that, ladies, pull your ears. I'm telling you, pull your ears.
90% of the job is in the confidence. It's how you stand, how you walk, how you present yourself, how you look.
Are you speaking from experience?
Oh yes. No, not the experience of stealing, but the experience of convincing.
You feel him in some way, maybe. I'm just saying.
It's like the experience of convincing whoever is around you that you feel and you are in the right place and you're doing the right thing at the right time.
It's true. There's so many people who wonder why they don't get promoted and they're better at their jobs. It's because maybe you're not as confident as the next guy.
Yeah.
That next guy, you know, you just hear them laughing with their boss. You're wondering, what could they be laughing about? He has not finished his work.
Or they repeat what she said louder.
Hiyo ndio mbaya hiyo.
Hiyo mbaya sana. No, but anyway, as Mato has said, clearly confidence plays a very, very, very big part.
But actually, this is somebody's pillar of strength. Aki, I feel sorry for you. Single ladies, easy streets imechafuka.
Would you snitch though? Would you snitch if you turned on the TV and you were like, wait, isn't that?
Oh, hell yeah.
I would, because if the cops find him, and God forbid we're in the same space, guess who's going to jail now as well?
Yeah.
Let me give an example of something that actually happens.
2 seconds.
I
know.
I remember there's a time Cindy asked me, hey, Mato, one day you are not on this job, then the next day I'm seeing you are with me on the trend. How did that happen? It was the confidence. Yana nikaambia tu producer yo, mimi naweza fanya hiki kitu. Nika message Amina, hiki kitu mimi naweza fanya. Na ndio mimi ni hapa tunafanya hiki kitu 3 years later.
Anyway,
there was something in common, you and that guy.
We're going to be back in a bit. Please do tweet us at The Trend Live, the hashtag TTTT, and tell us what your thoughts are about the 2 stories we've talked about. When we get back, we have more to discuss. Don't go too far.
I trust Sunlight 2-in-1 washing powder to give my clothes a sensational clean and an uplifting fragrance. Sunlight. More than you expect.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Join the Optivan family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optivan, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optivan's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Optivan, Inua Shamba.
This week on Daring Abroad, solace for troubled domestic workers at Sakan Housing Complex in Saudi.
We're here to make sure they're protected and to send them back to their countries.
As the government increases efforts to ensure worker safety in the region.
The Kenyan embassy is honestly one of the best embassies we work with.
We did find a number of Kenyans at Sakan who are already in the process of being helped to go home.
And from Kampala, lessons from Uganda-based lecturer Florence Githinji on why Kenyans should consider daring in the Pearl of Africa.
It's a very welcoming country for business, for studies, for networking.
This Saturday at 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Panda tukupandishe on Go Entertainment this new year on GoTV. Bila kulipia extra. Furahia the best sports, international shows, na local shows una like free. Download GoTV Stream. GoTV. Love it.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Now, parents of St. Gabriel Istongo Secondary School in Mumias expelled the principal from his office due to dissatisfaction with the poor KCSE 2023 results. Was this the best way to handle the matter? Was it, I mean...
Let me tell you, I have a son who finished KCPE, and I said it the previous show, and I will continue to say, it was such a disappointing way of ending 844, because 844 is so time consuming and grueling for the children and the parents, the books, the studying, the amount of pressure, only for the children to be heavily standardized. All you needed to do is go to social media just to read the lamentations of parents, mine included, of children who've worked so hard, but marks were just chopped off. Last year was the highest rate in the history of KCP of parents going and asking for their children's results to be remarked. It was so bad to the point where after a while they said, no, we can't take it anymore. So the reason I'm giving you a bit of a preamble is these parents should realize, number one, this KCP was 100% not truthful. Number two, there's only so much you can do with limited resources. Have you looked at where the school is located? What kind of resources do they have? Number three, your child, because your child is your genes. Are you smart? If you are not smart, then perhaps maybe it could run in the family.
CD, come on.
No, I'm sorry, because as Kenyans, we need to stop this thing that passing exams is a measure of success. How can you have the audacity to call a 13-year-old boy or girl a failure? Like, how does it wrap around your head to say these children failed? What is failure? In this life where 1,000 shillings is now 200, where A students are being hired by D students, we should change this framework. And I want to say categorically, shame on all those parents. Shame on them.
Shame on them for being angry at the principal, Cindy. I'm not understanding. Because here's the thing, I saw some of their comments and they were not too off. I think the manner in which they did that, quite unnecessary, very dramatic. But they said, neighboring schools are outperforming them that did not used to outperform them. So when you say like, where is it? How staffed is it? You know, what kind of resources do they have? I'm assuming it's more or less like an almost level playing field. And they're saying it's since his coming into office, like he's a president anyway, since he became principal, that now they've seen a drop in the performance. So I can understand their lamentations, to be honest, even with all these other factors like, you know, coming into play. But the way they did it is what to me is problematic. I don't think there's a problem in asking, can we have a change of principle if we've seen a drop in performance compared to what's happening. I know it was standardized. Education in this country right now is actually at a very, I don't know.
50 marks. Walikata our total 50 marks.
And same happened to also KCSE students. And there's actually even a petition.
This story is about KCSE students.
I mean,
but it's okay, yes?
There's a group called Linda Jamii, I think, that's petitioning to have the entire results cancelled because of the standardization, right? So there's many things that come into play, but I think they've said over the years that he has been principal, we've seen a decline in performance. We want change. I think the way they went about it is wrong, but I don't think it's crazy for them to want that.
The people were angry and they wanted somewhere, they wanted somebody to take responsibility for what they're feeling and what they're going through. They did. And it is unfortunate that he's the captain of that ship. And as the captain of the ship, you will take the fall. Pole, wewe utaanguka na msalaba wako. It is unfortunate, it is unfair, but it is the job that you asked for, and those are some of the consequences of the job. It is unfortunate.
Story at KCSE. And now Kuni Western, and we're talking about facts. I'm not even saying this to disparage on it. These are facts. There is a lot of teenage pregnancies going on in Western and in the coastal region. Highest number of girls doing KCSE when they're pregnant or they're nursing children. Could there be other mitigating factors? Maybe, okay, maybe he was not the best person. Maybe there were other things coming into place. But the underlying point is, sometimes as parents, we need to also take the personal blame.
True.
I was in a teacher-parent meeting yesterday where the parents were like, excuse me, principal, what are you guys going to do about our kids perfecting their Kiswahili? The principal fired back and said, what are you doing to ensure that the kids are learning Kiswahili at home? We need to stop giving too much responsibility to the school and also doing something at home.
That is true. In fact, I think for many, it's the teachers who are raising their kids, right? They forget that they're even playing any role other than paying fees and making sure that they're clothed. Now, as we go on to the next story, Education CS Ezekiel Machogu has defended himself after a photo surfaced on social media networks on Tuesday showing a schoolboy holding an umbrella over him at an event dubbed Muranga Child Bursaries. Kenyans had mixed reactions to the photo, with many condemning him, saying, you know, it portrayed him in such a negative light. Why didn't they have anyone else? Was there no security? Yes, we can watch.
Kind of malpractice in order for you to excel in your exam. You don't have to do anything known as cheating in order for you to go to university. Sasa tu enda tu. Hii mtoto mzuri. Sasa tena hapa Muranga mulipata grade A. 36 of our students were able to get an A. 270 of our students were able to get A minus. And again, we have quite a number making it to university. But again, I want to make one thing clear. What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? Kutoka hapo, pereke. Wacha yeye tu, nitakusaidia mtoto nakataa. Sasa Arabu utakuja kuniona kijana. Kwa hivyo kama mtoto hakuhitimu ile marks ya kwenda university, hakikisha ya kwamba enda na hiyo.
Somato, umeenda shule? Kuna mgeni mheshimiwa amekuja. Kuna furaha, mbwembwe, shangwe, hoi hoi. Yeah, people are so excited. Then you see your son, right? He's on that podium and he's holding that umbrella. What do you do?
So this story is the perfect way of communicating to Kenyans the difference between text and context. The importance of having context to the text. Watu walikuwa wamekasirika. Huyu ni mtu anafanyisha mtoto kazi gani? That boy was on a mission. He knew what he wanted.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
He knew what he was looking for. And amekatazwa. Goja, ametolewa hapo. Amefukuzwa mpaka eventually wakati amechukuliwa, ametolewa, akaambiwa toka hapo, ndio amekubali kutoka. Hakuambiwa aende hapo afanye hivyo.
Hapana macho.
Huyo mtoto hakuambiwa shika mwavuli uende. Yeye alijichukulia mwavuli akaenda akashikilia. Chief ama whoever, wewe inakaa kama nguo ya chief. Akakuja akajaribu kumtoa. Mtoto akakataa kutoka. CS akasema wachana na yeye basi. Akaendelea kukaa. Akakuja akatolewa mara ya pili ndio akakubali kutoka. Context and text. People were angry because they thought this was a politician or somebody in a position of leadership taking advantage of a little child. Na sio kazi. Na sio ati ni kazi alipewa analipwa. Ni mtoto alijitolea mwenyewe.
Kuna vile mtoto ujitolea. Nema henifio.
Wewe umeona? Si umeona?
Someone probably said something.
Yes.
When you are from a very humble background, Mato, you will do whatever it takes. That I don't. What does that even display for him now? Does it show how hardworking the young boy is by making him stand? That used to be a punishment. Did you guys ever do that where you leave your hands in the sun?
And you call the rain.
Yes, call the rain.
Oh God, that was. So
we don't see the part where either he's being sent or not sent. So much you can't say definitively that no one sent him.
You can't say that
because we don't see the video.
The
video starts from him walking up with the umbrella. Right? I will say and akakataa kutoka. That part is true.
Exactly.
No, Maria.
Amekataa kutoka. It's true. That part is in the video.
Yes, ndio alimwambia achana na yeye.
No. Alimwambia aende akakataa.
He did. Alikataa.
Yes, we can watch video ngapi? Tumewatch video gani?
He did refuse to go sit down. We can rewatch the video, guys. He did refuse to go sit down. And this yes also said the same thing. He said alikuja, he wanted school fees. He was asking for something small, which at some point you see him going into his pocket. Now that doesn't nullify the fact that labda alitumwa na mtu aliambiwa enda ukasaidia CS hapo kidogo kidogo. Both things can be true at the same time. However, there's a much bigger problem with our education as a whole. Before we start interrogating this whole, was he holding the umbrella? Was it by force? Was it this? Was it that? I don't know. The fact that he felt like I have to go hold an umbrella for this man for me to get my fees for the term pay.
That's what we're saying, Mato. No, that is what we are saying. No. No, Mato. Kama lazima abebe umbrella. Umbrella. It's almost like if we had to do something here at work that you're a bit uncomfortable with, but you know you have to take your kids through school and you sort of do it, you don't do it with the same.
What was the perception, Cindy, online? That CS amefanyisha, yani wale watu walikuwa na organize event.
Let me tell you why the perception was like that online Mato.
After the break, Cindy. After the break. Oh,
it is too
put a pin, my love. We will be right back and then you can tell us that. And we'll get to read some comments as well. So jump on Twitter. The hashtag or X, whatever we're calling it now. The hashtag is TTTT at The Trend Live. We're going to be right back after this.
Nivea Lunas visibly reduces dark spots. Does it really work? Trust me. For post-acne marks too? Of course. World's #1 anti-spot expert serum now for post-acne dark marks and age spots. Visible results in just 2 weeks. That means also for my age spots. Already worked for over 1 million women. Nivea Lunas 630. It works.
What should I do with my Luigi? He's 35 now but doesn't want to move out. I cook for him. I wash for him.
Allora, why don't you try a Red Bull?
Ornella, where is my mama?
Ah, she's flown the nest.
We've all been called into ministries in different capacities, and there are some who are called into the music industry.
Well, this week on Crossover, we want to understand what is the art behind the gospel, or the gospel behind the art, basically how the two correlate. tutakuwa na wasanii bomba sana pale kwenye studio, na kama kawaida music from yours truly, Son of Nations.
Yes, so make a date with us this Sunday from 11:30 to 1 p.m. only on NTV. And this is Crossover.
This is NTV.
Tonight,
it is devoid of any legal merit, and for us is plainly illegal and unlawful.
a supreme ban marred by irregularities. LSK calls out the Supreme Court judges in the Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi ban. Grand Mullah gathers legal arsenal as he escalates the fight. Also tonight,
the council proposes at a minimum that the county equitable share to be Kenya shillings 450 billion for the financial year 2024-2025.
the Revenue Share Battle 2024 edition. Governors reject CRA proposal, and we detail how it will draw in MPs, senators and the National Treasury. Plus, Ruto's big win at the Court of Appeal. Judges lift ban on parts of the Social Health Act. More deductions for salaried Kenyans. And
my lords and ladyships,
the battle with infertility.
When I got married, I was stigmatized because I could not get kids.
One solution is in vitro fertilization, IVF.
Procedure tatu nilibarikiwa na triplet.
Kuongea kweli ile kitu ni expensive.
Anywhere between 450 to 600,000.
Infertility and IVF access, the matter before our news court tonight.
Much obliged.
Panda tukupandishe on your entertainment this new year on GoTV bila kulipia extra. Kama uko on GoTV Lite, lipia GoTV Value, utapata kufurahia GoTV Plus. Tayari on GoTV Value, then lipia GoTV Plus uenjoy GoTV Max. Kama wewe ni wa GoTV Plus, lipia GoTV Max ujinice na shows noma kabisa on GoTV Super. Furahia the best sports, international shows na local shows una like free. Download GoTV Stream. GoTV, love it.
Mabibi na mabibi na mabibi, tunayo siku ya wanawake duniani. Tunasherehekea nguvu, ukakamavu na ungangari wa Malkia Vidosho. Na kwa kuwa kakualika kakupenda, tunakaribisha katika hoteli ya kifahari ya mchezo wa gofu ya Windsor. Mjiachilie na kushuhudia mchezo na hawa kina mama adimu, stadi na weledi kwenye mchezo wa gofu. Na je, unalijua vazi la gofu? Tulia, utapangwa. Ongeza vazi la Kiafrika, nakshi za Ankara, utese ulingoni. Kiziba mkonga ni machweo, mapochopocho na vidoho vitaandaliwa ili kuifunga kazi kusherekea ufanisi wa mtoto wa kike. Dada, jipange, kwani hii haijawahi tokea. Hii ni yako.
Panda tukupandishe on your entertainment this new year on GoTV bila kulipia extra. Furahia the best sports, international shows na local shows una like free. Download GoTV Stream. GoTV, love it.
And welcome back. Cindy, right before the break, I had said we'll come back and you will start things off with what it is that you are trying to get out. Yes, what did you...
I was telling Mato, you want to know why there is so much uproar about the kid holding the umbrella? Because Magoha would never. Stop.
As in?
He would never have allowed you to go that far. Even if the kid wanted school fees, he would have dignified that child. He would never.
you do realize at the point the child approached kuwekelea movuli. Macho hata kuangalia nyuma kuangalia
but
nini.
Macho, so what you're saying, I'm so sorry Cindy. So what you're saying, Macho, is that if the child was taken care of financially, had fees, wasn't in need, you want to tell me that he would still suggest, out of the kindness of his heart, to go and carry and lift the umbrella?
But I did not say he did it because of the kindness of his heart. I said that was a boy on a mission.
You made it.
There is a need.
But the mission.
There was a need.
But that's what Cindy's trying to say.
The environment that we are existing in has made kids think that is the best way to get ahead. You know, it is unfortunate.
But it is
unfortunate, but it is
the reaction. Every action has an equal or opposite reaction. That's what I'm saying. If it was Magoha, it would never have even reached social media.
So at this point,
he would have nipped it in the bud.
We are bashing the CS for something that he had no need to be bashed over. That is all I'm saying.
If you're getting tweet Macho, copy me.
I actually get the both of you. Macho is saying, Sasa yeye angefanya nini? He did not tell the young boy come. He tried to, you know, tell him go. So he's like, what do you guys want me to do? If I damned if I do, damned if I don't. If I told him to go now when I'm being rude, I'd have been disrespectful. I don't know. But I see it from both sides. But I don't know. I wouldn't want my son or my child or anyone needing to hold up an umbrella so that they can go through school. But let's talk about traffic along the busy Nairobi-Nakuru highway has disrupted operations after a lorry ferrying fish overturned. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
I don't know why nothing like this happens when I'm in the area. You know, even like the soda ones, just something polite. Maji there.
Let me tell you, the number of people in that scene vis-a-vis the people who'd be there if it was alcohol or unga. It landed in the wrong county.
Even Wakenya hawana njaa.
The county did not recognize.
Wakenya kona queue.
They were like, what are these? Na warundo 8 iko hapa tunakula. What is this? Inaweza kulwa na minji.
So you're saying it's the
county were like, Sasa tufanye nini?
The wrong one was overturned.
Never actually learned, because how many trucks have overturned at the oddest of spots? At least ilikuwa off the road, like the fish ilianguka nini kando ya barabara. But we've seen things go very wrong from like those perspectives. But people never learn. You see your chance, you take it, and I'm like, haya. Mwenyewe akikuja hapo sasa, if you're caught for looting over 3 tilapias, what next? You know,
Mariam, that is a blessing. Let me tell you. That I was just like, God, you need to, you know, like make a way. Today is time. And then it overturned. I'm like, this is God working in mysterious ways.
Maybe you were walking home from buying a loaf of bread and then now you find the fish
find fish.
Like,
really, Mariam?
You know?
It makes me wonder how on demand is fish, Cindy? How on demand is fish?
Fish is on demand in Nairobi. But between Nairobi and where the fish came from, that's where the problem is. I'm telling you, if it landed in my home county, Homa Bay, there is no way that fish would be scattered like that. And you're seeing the imperfect. No way. These guys were like, Sasa isa market.
Tutafanya nini nayo?
Can you imagine how that place smells?
Chemsha.
Cindy's like, listen, if this happened at home, you see when it was being recorded, already you'd be like, there was something here. Now let's talk about this 22-year-old woman who was arrested in Busia for impersonating a general service unit officer. She's going to be detained for 21 days pending investigations. Jacinta Malin Ouma was arrested on Wednesday evening in Butula, Busia County after a tip-off from the public. Is there more than meets the eye? How did they know? I think maybe she was overdoing.
Kufanya skits ni kitu mbaya sasa.
No, I think she overdid it. You know, sometimes even like with these fake cops, even the traffic ones, you are overdoing. So why do you have to hit my car? You know, you are now crossing boundaries. So I don't know what she did. I don't know who's.
I feel like the blue braids were the sellout. If you're gonna commit, really do commit.
Right.
When have you seen a GSU officer with blue braids, pink braids? You know,
and the long nails.
Yeah, and the long nails, the bad V nails. Like commit all the way. The outfit 10 out of 10. You know, effort. But sasa, if you were going, go all the way. And whoever snitched, I don't know. But maybe they did it for public safety because we really don't know what she was using these GSU powers to do out there. We have no idea. As much as I joke about skits, labda alikuwa na extort watu now. You know, you never know. She might not have had a gun, but the way she's carrying herself herself. She even has that gait of, you know.
She does?
Yeah. That wants some
The
cash.
cop one.
Yeah, that one.
It's the bombastic side eye for me. Yani! I was looking at her, she's listening.
Even as she's working with the cops after being arrested, she's still walking with confidence.
She's still in character.
Yeah.
She's still in character.
You do realize she is 22 years old. She's 22. Yani Gen Z mnatuonyesha mambo haraka aje bwana. She's 22. Waiganjo alikuwa in his mid 30s. Huyo kuna miaka 22. But then again,
Bonnie alisema tumpeleke theater. This is, you know, future Academy Award winner.
There might actually be more than meets the eye.
You're right, because she's so young.
Yeah.
And you know, there is some level of authority that they have, how they speak, how they, you know, at what point? Because 2 or 3 years before that, like maybe 3 or 4 years before that, she must have been in high school, I imagine.
Yeah.
So sijui yote happen lini. But you're saying there's more than meets the eye?
There might be. Wawezi jua kama alikuwa ametumwa mahali ufanye kitu fulani.
She's a good actress.
Alafu kikaumana. Wawezi jua, but apparently she's done it for a while.
She's a good actress. She's just not a smart one, which brings me back to the point of the teachers in the school. Sometimes you blame the principal, but it's actually the student. So you see, if she was a little older, if she asked a friend, texted Google, she'd realize that cops can't have colored hair. You know, I don't think it was a skit. Of course, that's what her lawyer told her to say so she can get away with it. I think it's a way that somebody said, you have the body for it, I have the clothes, let's go extort money. I think we even talked about the show a couple of years ago, way back, when there was, it was a guy and a lady, they had the coat and they were pretending that they had a guard dog. Kumbe ilikuwa kondo. Now alishika watu.
The devil is in the details.
Yes, exactly. The devil is in the details. So for her, she's like, if people are doing it on all offices, let me try my luck. It's just, she wasn't smart about the hair.
Was it just the hair alone? Oh, and the nails, we had said that.
Nails as
Yeah. Well,
probably the hair was under the coffee and then it just fell.
Maybe. No, but Cindy is right. I mean, you have to commit all the way. You know what you're doing is a crime.
You do the research.
You know it is a crime. No, before you even start doing
like
research,
GSU code of conduct. Google GSU uniform. You
have
know.
a walkie-talkie or something.
Yeah, language.
Kwanza watu wa walkie-talkie. Sasa tukiwa na walkie-talkie ukiwa kwa jam, uigongeshe kwa side ya gari. Papa unatengenezwa barabara.
Can you guys,
is that something you've done, Mato?
Kuna story ingine. Kuna next story.
No, but I definitely cannot impersonate a cop. I laugh a lot. It'll just be a giveaway. Mato, do you think you can?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Cindy, do you think you can?
I can.
What?
You can?
No. My Kiswahili is crap, so yes. I don't think I can. Now,
Mariam. Can you imagine meeting a cop who speaks English back to back like that? That is the first dead giveaway.
Maybe I'm just too polite, but I'll just be like, hi,
you're
excuse
too polite.
me, immediately I'm sold out. It's over.
Please.
Kapabali Kagari Lako.
Kagari Kando.
Yeah.
Nitakupatia tikiti.
Wait, we don't get tickets.
Such bad vibes.
I don't even know.
It's a big station.
Oh, for shopping.
Don't give tickets in Kenya. Look at you.
Surely,
Itabidi
Just license and registration, please. You've been watching too many episodes of.
You see, I don't even know what's
going on. Anyway, but thank you so much, you guys. Will you be at the match next week? Yeah, it's next week.
Planning to attend. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm out of town.
If you're planning to attend, let the reasons for the match be reasons to unify, not to drive a wedge. Come on, I mean, men need women, women need men.
I asked you also, Mato. Please come. We do need men. We do need men. Please let it not be misunderstood. Let it not be.
It's not a women's thing.
It needs to be clear. It needs to be clear, and the messaging needs to be clear from the get-go. Like, this is why we are having the match. Let it be clear. Let it be said. Let it be very deliberate.
It's to end femicide.
Yeah.
That's the deliberate message.
Oh, yeah,
are you with us, Mato?
And kufunza. Homicide is the murder of men and women. Femicide is the murder of women. Androcide is the murder of men.
And why don't we know androcide?
Because it rarely happens as much as femicide.
It's never reported as
I thought we were all gonna like
It's
probably.
never reported as androcide. It's reported as homicide.
Okay.
Yes.
There's
we need to.
There's a gender
Thank you
component,
so
Mato.
much to Mariam and Mato and to Cindy. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you at 10 p.m. time now for the news. My name is Amina Abdiraba. Good evening. Bye. Bye.
This week on Daring Abroad, solace for troubled domestic workers at Sakan Housing Complex in Saudi.
We're here to make sure they're protected and to send them back to their countries.
As the government increases efforts to ensure worker safety in the region.
The Kenyan embassy is honestly one of the best embassies we work with.
We did find a number of Kenyans at Sakan who are already in the process of being helped to go home.
And from Kampala, lessons from Uganda-based lecturer Florence Githinji on why Kenyans should consider daring in the Pearl of Africa.
It's a very welcoming country for business, for studies, for networking.
This Saturday at 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Ride with Faras today and get up to 30% discount. Whether you're riding economy, border, Faras, Excel or Faras Comfort, with Faras, you save on every ride. The more you ride, the higher the discount. Faras, fast, safe, affordable.
Join the Optivan family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optivan, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optivan's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Optivan, Optivan, Inua Shamba.
This is NTV.
The 19th day of January 2024. Thank you for joining us on NTV Weekend Edition. We have a lot in store for you, and because it's Friday as you'd expect, we have News Court and we'll be telling you what we are expecting to speak about tonight. First, the highlights.
But we would want to understand the nature of that decision so that then we can know, do we go for judicial review?
A Supreme ban marred by irregularities. LSK calls out the Supreme Court judges in the Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi ban. Grand Mullah gathers legal arsenal as he escalates the fight. Also tonight,
the council proposes at a minimum that the county equitable share to be Kenya shillings 450 billion for the financial year 2024-2025.
The Revenue Share Battle 2024 edition. Governors reject CRA proposal, and we detail how it will draw in MPs, senators and the National Treasury. Plus, Ruto's big win at the Court of Appeal. Judges lift ban on parts of the Social Health Act. More deductions for salaried Kenyans. And
My lords and ladyships.
The battle with infertility.
When I got married, I was stigmatized because I could not get kids.
One solution is in vitro fertilization, IVF.
Procedure tatu nilibarikiwa na triplet.
Kuongea kweli, hilo kitu ni expensive.
Anywhere between 400, 450 to 600,000.
Infertility and IVF access, the matter before our news court tonight.
Much obliged.
Live from Nation Center, this is Weekend Edition with Dan Mwangi.
Alongside David Agondoa, who's on the sign language interpretation tonight. Now, in what may go down as a fight for the records in the corridors of justice, Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi is promising a fight back against the Chief Justice, that's Martha Koome-led bench at the Supreme Court that banned him and his associates from appearing before it. The Grand Mullah, as the lawyer is popularly known, has instructed his legal team to institute a petition at the East Africa Court of Justice in Arusha, Tanzania, to challenge the decision. Meanwhile, LSK President Eric Theuri has faulted the decision by the court, saying that not only did it condemn Ahmed Nasir without a fair hearing, but also denied consumers the right to representation by a lawyer of their choice. Ibrahim Karanja opens our broadcast tonight.
The decision by the 7 judges of the Supreme Court to box Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi out of their courts over claims of disparaging the courts and making corruption accusations is now the subject of debate in the legal sphere. To start with, the Grand Mullah himself has indicated his resolve to tackle the Martha Koome-led bench head-on by seeking redress from the East African Court of Justice based in Arusha. And whereas courts are allowed by law to take action against any advocate, the decision, as communicated by the acting registrar of the Supreme Court, has been criticized over the procedure followed in arriving at the decision. LSK President Eric Theuri now says that the Supreme Court judges have condemned the Grand Mullah unheard.
We are saying that the decision by the Supreme Court in the first instance violates the right to be heard before a decision is made against you. Secondly, a client is entitled under the Constitution to an advocate of his own choice. And so therefore, when you say that Ahmed Nasir is denied the right of audience before the court, then you affect that right of the consumer to access an advocate of his own choice. But in this case, the decision is much more draconian because it not only forbids Ahmed Nasir from appearing before the court, it also denies anyone else, be it his associates, be it his partners who are working in the same law firm, from accessing the court. What have those people done if the issue that is before the court is the comments that have been made by Ahmed Nasir? And so there's the question of lack of proportionality. So notwithstanding the fact that they were not heard, the decision is also illogical and illegal to that extent.
Theuri now wants the court to avail documents and process followed in coming up with a judgment, promising to seek redress either through a judicial review or a constitutional petition.
At a time like this, when the judiciary has been going through this kind of attacks, then when they make that decision that is illogical, that does not make sense, then it can lead to certain inferences being made against the court.
Meanwhile, city lawyer Donald Kipkorir has defended the decision, saying that any court is empowered by the Advocates Act to take action against any advocate of the High Court, further criticizing Ahmed Nasir's continued punches on the judiciary, saying that even the freedom of speech can be legally curtailed. Ibrahim Karanja, NTV.
The Council of Governors has rejected a proposal by the Commission on Revenue Allocation to allocate the county government's 398 billion shillings in the 2024-2025 financial year. The governors have proposed a minimum, the county equitable share to be 450 billion shillings. NTV's Vincent Odor tells us more.
You're not ready.
The Council of Governors has now opened a new battlefront with the National Treasury and the National Assembly over the county equitable revenue share. During their first meeting this year, the governors maintained they want at least 450 billion shillings as their county equitable share.
The Council proposes at a minimum that the county equitable share to be Kenya shillings 450 billion for the financial year 2024-2025. This will factor in adjustment for the revenue growth, adjustment for inflation, and the Road Maintenance Levy Fund RMLF projected allocation of 10.52 billion shillings.
The position taken by the governors and CRA will now head to the National Assembly, where legislators will reject or adopt it during the budget-making process. The senators will also have to wait for what the National Assembly will settle on to approve or revise it. This is coming at a time when the government still owes the counties 81 billion shillings in equitable share as at 19th of this month.
17.48 billion owed to 24 counties for November 2023 allocation. Kenya shillings 30.83 billion owed to 47 counties for December 2023, and Kenya shillings 32.76 billion owed to 47 counties for January 2024.
The dispute ignites bitter political formations, with the legislators voting based on whether they are in support of the national government or the opposition. Last year, for the first time, the Senate shot down an amendment to give counties 407 billion shillings and instead stuck with the 385 billion shillings proposed by the National Assembly amid protest from the opposition. Vincent Odur, NTV.
Let's say the Council of Governors, which has rejected in totality the recommendations by the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms, that's PWPER. Now, the governors say that the recommendations pose negative impacts on devolution and the progress made by the county governments on management of early childhood education. Martin Mwangi with more details.
Several months after the release of the full report by the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms, the Council of Governors has rejected in total its recommendations. The Council says the recommendations pose a great threat to the contribution of county governments towards the education sector.
Having gone through the full report, its recommendations, and the negative impact it poses on to devolution, we as a Council reject in total the recommendations by the Working Party on education as they undermine the basic structure and framework of the management of education by the counties.
The governors are also seeking support from basic education teachers through the National Union to shoot down the recommendations of the task force.
We call upon the Kenya National Union of Teachers to support the spirit and letter of the Constitution and refrain from derailing efforts made by county governments in the education sector.
Among the recommendations was to repeal the Early Childhood Education Act to transfer Early Childhood Development Education to the Basic Education Act. This would align with the definition of basic education as starting from pre-primary to senior school. ECDE is currently a function of the county governments. Elsewhere, the Ministry of Education says the Ministry of Interior will, as from Monday, commence the process of ensuring that all learners who sat for their 2023 KCPE examinations have joined secondary schools in line with the government's 100% transition.
We have already received reports from yourselves in terms of transitions in your regions. Our officers from the headquarters will be working with you next week, our colleagues in the Ministry of Interior, to make sure that the government policy of 100% transition is achieved.
Over 14,000 students joining Form 1 have received their bursaries for their secondary school education through the government's Elimu Scholarship Program. Martin Mwangi, NTV.
All the students, let's cheer them, let's cheer them, let's cheer them.
Now, Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza is calling on the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, that's DCI, to publicly provide detailed evidence uncovered during a recent raid at her residence in the probe on the murder of blogger Daniel Muthiani, alias Sniper. Now, this comes even as two suspects said to bear the greatest responsibility in the murder of the blogger, that is Sniper, are said to be charged with murder on the 29th of this month. And this has been an ongoing issue which has brought the county of Meru back into the limelight after the governor had her issues, so to speak, about the attempted ouster from office. But now she's been dealing with a matter that's been brought close to her home and has to do with criminality. Margaret Kimathi has that story.
For the first time after completion of investigations of the murder of Meru blogger Daniel Muthiani alias Sniper, Governor Kawira Mwangaza has broken her silence. In a press address on Friday, flanked by her husband Murega Mbaichu, Mwangaza said should the DCI fail to honor her request, then she will lead the county residents in a protest until the demands are met.
Mukaandikisha statement mpaka ya huyu mtoto. Mumepata nini kwa simu zao? Mkachukua simu ya mfanyikazi wangu anayenipikia chakula, mkachukua simu ya mtu ambaye anafagia hapa, mkabeba vitu ambavyo mlikuwa mnahitaji. Mbona mna update mambo nusu-nusu?
The governor claimed that the investigations have been politicized, saying the police confessed to being coerced by senior leaders to achieve an agenda. Mwangaza asserted the suspects said to be charged with Sniper's murder are being compelled to frame her due to lack of evidence.
Uchunguzi umejaa siasa tupu. Siasa tupu. Na hatutanyamaza, tutataja watu kwa majina. Wale ambao wamewasukuma kisiasa kwa sababu mnasema ya kwamba mmepewa pressure, political pressure. Wenye wamepatia nyinyi political pressure, wapatie nyinyi ushahidi. Maana tutahitaji haki kwa kijana wetu, ninahitaji haki kama familia yangu.
His husband Murega Mbaichu said that in the Rikwi mass and rallies seeking justice for Sniper, Mwangaza has been labeled as being a murderer and being involved in the killing of the activist.
Pia sisi sasa tuanza kusunguka tukiitisha justice ya Sniper ipatikane, na justice ya familia ya Kawira Mwangaza ipatikane, na justice ya walioshikwa bure ipatikane. Yes.
Today, the DPP ordered for the prosecution of Vincent Mureithi, also known as Supu, and Governor Kawira's Mwangaza's brother, Kenneth Murangeri, at the Kiambu Law Courts. The deputy registrar at the court, however, ordered for the duo to be taken for mental assessment before standing trial on 29th of this month. Margaret Kimathi, NTV.
Now, after fighting charges relating to the 7 billion shilling Anglo leasing scandal for 2 decades now, embattled businessman Deepak Kamani has been acquitted alongside fellow businessman Rashmi Kamani and former permanent secretaries Dave Mwangi, Joseph Magari and Joseph Onyonka for lack of evidence. All 5 had been charged with conspiracy to defraud the government through the multi-billion shilling Anglo leasing contract known as the modernization of police security equipment and accessories between 2003 and 2004. Milimani Anti-Corruption Court Chief Magistrate Felix Kombo cleared the 5 of all charges, citing glaring contradictions and inconsistencies in the prosecution's case. Magistrate Kombo also blasted the Kenyan government for selective prosecution. The magistrate further ruled that the contract was genuine and the government officials did not trample on any procurement laws in the purchase of security equipment.
I therefore conclude and determine that in accordance with the principles applicable, the state has failed to make a prima facie case sufficient to warrant the calling of the accused persons and any of them in the respective charges preferred against them to make a defense. Orders are that upon the foregoing conclusion, I agree with defense submission that an order of acquittal should issue, which I hereby do in relation to each of their 5 accused persons before the court in each charge preferred hearing against them respectively. The state has a right to appeal within 14 days.
In the course of the trial,
the investigators failed to call crucial witnesses. They failed to call important witnesses in the case, and finding makes their case very weak, and they could not sustain. They did not provide enough evidence to support the charges.
Now, dozens of people affected by Malindi, Mombasa and Mombasa-Mariakani highways have decried what they term as low compensation rates, with some getting as little as 30,000 shillings to pave way for the road projects. And as Fatma Bugu reports, they now want the government to conduct fresh evaluation and recall award letters issued to them early this year.
When the government announced the construction of 2 key highways in the coast region, locals received the news with joy, with many eyeing billions always paid out as compensation to pave the way of the projects. But now they have been stunned by the low rates issued by the National Land Commission.
Sikiwa zimetupatia compensation kidogo sana, hata sio robo ya zile nini zetu.
Wengi walipoingia kwa ile room ya kusign award letters, kuna kipengele tulikuwa tunaonyeshwa pale, you either agree with the award letter ama tukutane kotini, ambayo kwa maoni yangu ilikuwa intimidative ama ya vitisho.
Hapa ndio nimelelea watoto wangu na sina pahali pengine pa kwenda. Baka nasindwa, nakataa kulipwa, niende wapi mimi, nipeleke watoto wangu wapi?
The construction of the 7.5 billion shillings multinational Bagamoyo Horohoro Malindi Road project is on the process, and they want the National Land Commission to redo the evaluation and recall the compensation award letters. An officer at the Kenha Communication Department said it's up to the National Lands Commission to decide the compensation awards and not Kenha.
Ikianza hii barabara kubomolewa, kutakuwa hakuna business yoyote leo inaenda. Kutakuwa hakuna kabisa. Je, serikali au mradi wa barabara watatulipa vipi? Hata wangetuongeza kitu, hata tukaingia sokoni, tukafungua mlango, tukakaa hapo. Kwa maana sasa hapa tunaondoka, hatujui tunaenda wapi. Hatujui watoto wetu watakula nini na watasoma nini.
Currently, the construction is going on along the highway.
The Mombasa-Malindi highway is expected to ease congestion and open up Mombasa for businesses and, of course, boost the tourism sector. Fatma Bugu, NTV, Mombasa.
From Mombasa, we are taking a short break on NTV Weekend Edition. But before that, as you can see, Nina Shaban is in the studio. Nina, what do you have for us?
Well, what we have is we're going to look into oil markets as we're complaining about the shilling versus the dollar. You know, this is something that has been trending in the week, so we'll get to look at what they have to say about the fuel prices moving forward.
Yeah, I think.
Kutana na Januari, mwezi mgumu wa ukame, na wengi wenye usani huanguka.
Januari hii kuna up to 1 million Kenyan shillings za kushindaniwa kwenye star 570 hash. Cheza Lucky Game. Kumbuka every 100 shillings ambao unacheza nao kwenye Lucky Game inakupatia 1 entry ticket ya kuingia kwenye draw ya kujishindia up to 1 million Kenyan shillings. Na mshindi wetu namba 2 anapata 500,000 Kenyan shillings ambayo tutawatangaza on the 21st of January hii.
At star 5?
Ni star 570 hash au www.ebet.co.ke. January hii isikukaushe.
It's Friday and things are looking a bit boring. Fanta. Submit to the fizziest of fizz. Surrender to a bubbly bliss. Fall for the tangiest of tangs. Succumb to the flavor frenzy. Fanta. Indulge with a sip and snack.
Join the Optiven family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optiven, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optiven's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Optiven, inua shamba.
Sign up with a promo code and get a welcome bonus. OneXBet.
This week on Daring Abroad, solace for troubled domestic workers at Sakan Housing Complex in Saudi.
We're here to make sure they're protected and to send them back to their countries.
As the government increases efforts to ensure worker safety in the region.
The Kenyan embassy is honestly one of the best embassies we work with.
We did find a number of Kenyans at Sakan who are already in the process of being helped to go home.
And from Kampala, lessons from Uganda-based lecturer Florence Githinji on why Kenyans should consider daring in the Pearl of Africa.
It's a very welcoming country for business, for studies, for networking.
This Saturday at 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Good evening. It is time to take a look at the business news, and my name is Nina Shaban. Half of Kenyan banks were accessing liquidity support from the Central Bank of Kenya, CBK, by the end of September last year, reflecting their inability to liquidate bond holdings for cash due to depressed prices in the secondary market. Disclosures made by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in a country report on Kenya have laid bare the risk banks are facing from falling bond prices in the secondary market, forcing them to hold the securities even when in need of cash in order to avoid booking large losses. According to the IMF, only a small percentage of banks had actual liquidity deficiency or thin buffers at the time of the preparation of its report, but a larger number was joining them in accessing the CBK discount window due to the bonds market stalemate. Oil marketers have warned of mounting cash flow woes over the fuel stabilization scheme that was extended in the new prices for the monthly cycle ending February 14th. The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, last Sunday subsidized the prices of diesel, adding to 9.98 billion shillings in unpaid dues under the scheme since July last year. And the cross-subsidy helped lower diesel prices by 5 shillings per litre, with the commodity going for 196 shillings and 47 cents in Nairobi. Compensation delays have forced oil marketers to tap more loans for capital outlays, highlighting the impact of the payment hitches on their operations. The government has scored a big win after the Court of Appeal overturned an order that barred the implementation of the Social Health Insurance Fund, NHIF, and which is set to replace the NHIF Act. Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumicha moved to the appellate court and pleaded with the judges to lift the suspension, arguing that it created a vacuum and confusion in the health sector as NHIF has since been replaced. Lily's Njero Mutinda reports.
Ruling delivered Friday afternoon, a three-judge bench consisting of Justices Pauline Nyamoya, Grace Ngenye and Patrick Yage said that there is a real and present danger to the health rights of countless citizens who are not parties to the litigation pending before our courts. However, the judges directed that certain provisions remain suspended pending hearing and determination. These are Section 26, subsection 5 of the Act, which makes registration and contribution a precondition for dealing with or accessing public services from the national and county governments or their entities. Section 27, subsection 4, which provides that a person shall only access healthcare services where their contributions to the Social Health Insurance Fund are up to date and active. Section 47, subsection 3, which obligates every Kenyan to be uniquely identified for purposes of provision of health services. The Social Health Insurance Act replaces the National Health Insurance Fund and creates three funds managed by the Social Health Authority. The funds proposed include Primary Healthcare Fund, Social Health Insurance Fund, and Emergency, Chronic, and Critical Illness Fund. The Act repealed the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF, noting that the NHIF board shall wind up the fund within 1 year of coming into operation of the SHIF Act 2023. So how will the Social Health Act affect your payslip? The regulations propose that a salaried household shall pay a monthly statutory deduction at a rate of 2.75% of their gross salary, with a minimum amount capped at 300 shillings, a 200 shillings deduction from the 500 shillings NHIF cap. This means that an individual earning a gross salary of 20,000 Kenyan shillings will be expected to pay 550 shillings under the new fund. Individuals earning 50,000 shillings will be expected to pay 1,375 shillings, with more pain being felt by those earning more than 100,000 shillings. Individuals earning 100,000 shillings will pay 2,750 shillings under the SHIF fund, while individuals earning 200,000 shillings will be expected to part with 5,500 shillings. For those earning 500,000 shillings, they will be expected to remit 13,750 shillings, while those earning 1 million shillings expected to pay 27,500 shillings. Lilis Njero Mutinda, NTV.
All right, so that's it for business news. My name is Nina Shaban. Up next is Dan Mwangi with the News Court.
You do your best out there. Let us do our best in here with the disinfecting power of Jake. Because Jake cleans and kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs and COVID-19 in your home. Jake, your family's guardian against germs and COVID-19. There's a kind of bank assurance intermediary that really allows you to relax because you know you'll be good. The kind that gives you access to a good range of insurance solutions from a good variety of insurance partners at good affordable premiums. That's Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary for you. Get covered real good through Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary.
Na Januari, mwezi mkuu wa ukame, na wengi wenye usani huanguka.
Januari hii kuna up to 1 million Kenyan shillings za kushindaniwa kwenye star 570 hash. Cheza Lucky Game. Kumbuka every 100 shillings ambao unacheza nao kwenye Lucky Game inakupatia 1 entry ticket ya kuingia kwenye draw ya kujishindia up to 1 million Kenyan shillings. Na mshindi wetu namba 2 anapata 500,000 Kenyan shillings ambayo tutawatangaza on the 21st of January hii. Ni star 570 hash au www.ebet.co.ke. Januari hii isikukaushe.
Lydia Maina and Samuel Kimani are a married couple. They struggled to conceive, and Lydia underwent IVF, and now they have triplets. They share their story with this honorable court. Jacinta Atieno Cheng is married but with no children. She says she's unable to conceive due to a blood condition. She's open to IVF but says she cannot afford it, hence has not undergone it. She's a fashion designer and the chief executive officer of Jessie Trends. Cecilia Karanja is the founder of Fertility Kenya. She herself suffered infertility for 11 years, which led her to 2 failed marriages. She is now married and has 3 children. Fertility Kenya is a medical and health non-governmental organization that was established to address the plight of women and men affected by infertility. Dr. Kireki Omanwa is a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist. He's a fertility specialist and the president of the Kenya Obstetrical and Gynecological Society. He is a lecturer in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at the University of Nairobi.
Justice Wanjiko, your court is in session. News Court, the court of public interest. Before you is the matter of addressing the situation of infertility or the inability to conceive by way of in vitro, I should say, fertilization, that's IVF. So first and foremost, what is it? Now, IVF is a process where sperm fertilizes the eggs in the laboratory rather than in a woman's fallopian tube, and this is according to the Nairobi IVF Center. Now, what does IVF involve? It involves the placing the egg from the woman together with many thousands of sperm, typically 100,000, and then the fertilized embryos grow in the laboratory over 5 days, which is called the blastocyst stage. Then embryos are transferred into the woman's uterus, and this is again according to the Nairobi IVF Center. Now, infertility is a disease of the male and female reproductive system defined by the failure to achieve a pregnancy after 12 months of more or of regular unprotected sexual intercourse. This is according to the World Health Organization. Now, my lords and ladyships, this court is seeking to understand the dynamics of IVF and the human journey around it and the concern of accessibility for this breakthrough option for many women. Gabriel Kudaka with our opening submissions.
You wanna imagine being unable to conceive for a long time, then getting the breakthrough. My submissions before this court.
Nilioleka 2010, nikakaa kwa doa.
Katika doa, matunda ya ndoa tunajua ni uzazi. Ndoa bila watoto, kulingana na kimila yetu ama Kiafrika, hiyo tunajua si doa.
Nilijua tukiwa na mzee wangu shida pahali iko, so tulikuwa tunaanza kwenda kwa hospitali mbalimbali juu tuweze kujua shida ni iko wapi. Nikaanza kutafuta gynecologist. The time nilijua niko na shida, that time nikajikubali
na ndiposa tukaishi tukamaliza miaka kadhaa.
The time una mtoto, kuna watu wengi huko maswali, kwa nini umekaa bila mtoto? Na hiyo miaka yote kwa nini? Shida ni gani?
Na hii maswali inapitia kutoka kwa familia, kutoka kwa wewe mwenyewe kama mimi, kutoka kwa marafiki, na ikakuwa ni mambo ngumu sana. Juu ukiwa mwanaume ukipita tu kwa wanaume wale wengine kama una mtoto, unasikia watu wanaongea, huyu mtu fulani ako hivi na hivi.
Watu wanakuuliza, wewe unaamuka kwenda kazi, unafanyia kazi nani? Na una mtoto. Kuna mtu anaweza kuja mpitane akutukane. Anaweza kuambia ule kazi yake ni kununua na juu ya pesa yake hana pahali ya kupeleka. So wakati nilijijua, nilichukua hatua, kaanza procedure IVF.
Na hiyo procedure si kitu rahisi. Na kuikubali si kitu rahisi. Juu zile maneno unaenda unapewa unakuta kule kwa daktari ni mambo ngumu. Pasi nyingine unashindwa sasa hii ni mimi nitapitia ama namna gani. Lakini juu uko na haja na ile kitu unatafuta, inabidi tu ufuatilie.
Kaanza hiyo procedure 2018, daktari akaniambia uko na shida. Nikaambia uko na fibroid. So ni lazima sasa ningeenda tena nirudi kwa gynecologist, nitoe zile fibroid ndio ni tena nianze hii procedure tena. Na 2018 nikawekewa the first procedure na ikashika. Kukaa miezi 3 nikaambia tena hakuna kitu kinaonekana, but unaonekana uko mjamzito, but una mtoto, but tu niyo kinaonekana. So that time kukaa ikatoka ikajitoa tu. Kukaa tena nikarudi tena kwa ile daktari. So unaona kuna uzito wa hii safari juu sasa kuanza ile procedure unaanza na pesa. Tena hiyo pesa imeenda na tena utarudi huko hospitali tena utumie pesa ingine. So nikaanza procedure tena. Kutoka hapo ikashika na heartbeat hakuna. So daktari akaniambia hakuna kitu kinaonekana. Sasa nimeambiwa sasa na daktari nitarudi tena na nikiangalilia mafanikio yangu sina pesa. So nikakaa tu nifikirie ni vipi nitafanya. Alafu sasa nilikuwa nakufa moyo. Na hii safari ni lazima ukuwe tu na pesa, ukiwe prepared. Ati ukianza procedure tena utakuwa na pesa. So mimi nikaona njia mzuri nitarudi tena huko. Nikaanza procedure tena 2020. Hata yeye alikuwa ananiuliza sasa sioni shida. Shida ni nini? Hata mimi nilikuwa najiuliza kwa moyo, shida iko wapi? Juu sasa naanza hii procedure, hii ni mara ya pili, hakuna kitu natoka nayo huku.
Na tukafuatilia na hizo challenge mingi. Na ile kitu kuongea kweli ile kitu ni expensive. Ile maneno ya kufuata hiyo maneno si kitu rahisi. Ni expensive. Kama una pesa mtu anaweza angamia.
Kaingia tena huko procedure 3. That time ndio Mungu alionekana akanikumbuka na jia baraka. Na nashukuru Mungu juu that time nilibarikiwa na triplet. Nashukuru nasema asante kwa Mungu juu nimebarikiwa na wao watoto. Niko na vijana 2 na msichana mmoja. Juu huku nitupa na sasa ulinipea nguvu baraka na nashukuru kwa hata kunipea hao watoto juu kama ni wanaume wengine wangeenda.
Justice Wanjiko, those are my submissions before you.
Quite a heartwarming submission there from Gabriel Kudaka. Your Honor, this is a case of a successful IVF situation. For some, their situation is different. This court invites Oko Kusa to lead us into the next submissions.
My lords, the desire to experience the gift of motherhood is something a lot of women long for. In Bungoma, a rare blood condition has denied a woman her heart's fulfillment. Your Honor, allow me to bring before this honorable court Jacinta Atieno Ochieng.
I've been living with sickle cell anemia ever since I was born. I've been struggling with it, especially when I was a kid. Eventually, it affected my fertility. At the age when I was supposed to get pregnant or so, I could not. When I got married, I was stigmatized because I could not get kids and all that. Very few people understand the aspect of being with low blood in the body. People think it's a curse. It's tough, eh? When you get married, you say you're expected to get pregnant, most probably the first year, the second year, or the third year. If it does not happen, then the family, the society will start talking and all that. So most of the times you find yourself, your marriages fail because you cannot get a kid. I've been seeing doctors ever since I started experiencing the infertility. I've done a lot of tests to clarify that I cannot get kids. I've talked to several doctors, they've referred me, but financial constraints have made me not to pursue that. Every other thing I've tried, but I've tried even going to the herbal medicines, I've tried the conventional medicine, but I think it's finances, just finances. The struggle is real. First, the medicine for blood, it's too expensive. So you're finding yourself, you're just inclining on the blood part, and you're forgetting about the fertility part. So even the blood banks, they should help these people who have a problem with blood, so that they can access those services easily. Every person who gets married would really wish to have kids, and you see, if these services are available at a higher cost, then we have these people who just stay without kids because they cannot afford the services. So yes, we appeal to the government, if these services can be found, maybe if our NHIF cards can cater for that, maybe it can help us. It's been really a struggle. My appeal is if there is anyone out there who can help, actually, I'll be very glad.
My lords, ladyships, cost remains a pain for an already pained person. Nothing further from me, Your Honor. Much obliged.
Justice Wanjiko, this court appreciates that some people are not for this method. For some, it is informed by their cultural and or religious persuasions. Now, we are going to be speaking to a doctor who's going to give us insights on this matter, and we're going to be speaking to Dr. Kireki Omanwa, who is a fertility specialist. And first and foremost, Dr. many things have been said about IVF, but what are some of the risks that one faces?
Yes, there are risks there. Just like in medicine, there is nothing that is completely risk-free, as it were. The risks that are involved in IVF is basically, especially when we have a patient who has something we call polycystic ovarian syndrome. What does that mean? It means that in these patients, the ovaries have a lot of eggs. Okay, so when we start treating this patient, when we start giving them medication so that they produce as many eggs as possible, these patients may produce 40 eggs, 50 eggs, sometimes even 70 eggs, which is a challenge in itself. The fact that these women produce many eggs does not equal to good quality eggs. So that is a challenge. So they may produce very many eggs, but very few of them will be good quality. That is number one. Number two, when we are stimulating them like that, they may have what is called ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. What does that mean? It means that at some point, the hormones which are released during stimulation, they go and they affect the vessels, and they make the vessels, put it in layman's language, they loosen the vessels, and then fluid starts leaking out. And this fluid can lead to accumulation of fluid in the abdomen. Sometimes, unfortunately, it can even go to the lungs. If it goes to the lungs, that is something which is very serious. And this can lead to hospitalization in the ICU unit. So we have mitigating steps that we do when we see such patients. The medications we use are different, and how we treat them during egg collection is different, and then we monitor them after doing the egg collection. 2 or 3 things that we want to make sure that is happening. Number 1, that they are going to the toilet, they're passing urine. Number 2, they are opening their bowels, and then of course we want to control the pain which may be there.
So what are some of the things that you have noticed among your patients here in Kenya and you think are important to point out?
A common problem that I have seen in this part of the world is a problem with tubes. Remember, the tubes are the ones which transport the egg, and it's a place where the sperm swim through so that they can go and meet the egg and fertilize it. If the tubes are blocked, or if the tubes are stuck somewhere, because they can also be stuck in the pelvis, then getting pregnant naturally is going to be a challenge, or even impossible. If the tubes have fluid in them, because sometimes they can have fluid in them when they are blocked, that is going to be a challenge. So these are some of the things we look at and say, for you, definitely the best option is to go for IVF. For you, we can give you medications, and then you can try to have a baby naturally. Or we can give you medications, and then you come, we get sperm from your partner, we clean it, and then we inject it into the womb and see whether that can be possible.
Now, one of the biggest issues that has been raised in regards to IVF here is the issue of cost, which is a factor of access. What's your take on this?
The cost of IVF is relatively high when you consider the purchasing power of the average Kenyan. It varies from anywhere between 450 sometimes to 600,000 per cycle of treatment. A cycle of treatment is basically when we start injecting a patient with medication until we retrieve the eggs, we collect eggs, we create embryos, and we transfer them back. So that is one cycle of treatment. It costs about anywhere between 450 to 600,000, which is a high figure for an average Kenyan. The government can also play a huge role by either subsidizing, the treatment of IVF, such that if we were to say it's an average of, let's say, 400 or 400 or even 500, say, look, the government can pay, or NHIF, or one of these bodies that has been created as a subsequent of NHIF, say we'll subsidize this price and say we'll pay half and let the patient or the couple pay the other half. It will make it more affordable. That is number 1. Number 2, we have another issue, because when you look at our health system with the way it is graduated, we do not have a public IVF center which can cater to the normal public, Kenyatta or Moi or any of these referral hospitals. To the best of my knowledge, there is something going on at Kenyatta National Hospital, and hopefully this year we will have the first public institution offering IVF treatment services. That would be a very, very big step towards availability. But is one institution enough in a population of 50 million? Definitely not enough. Now, availability and affordability will also come with several other things. There is manpower. We don't have very many experts like myself. So we need to train. And you can ask, why are you not training? Technically, we can train the theory bit, but these trainees need to have where they do the hands-on.
So, Dr. as we come to a close, what's your closing remark and advice on this? And it would be good to also rope in some of the factors to do with men.
If you don't have a baby, it is not the end of the world. That's number 1. Number 2, if you don't have a baby, we have a solution. You can come, we can find out what the problem is, and we can offer a solution. And then the last thing is to gentlemen. Remember I said in terms of statistics, it actually affects men more than women. But there are very few men who actually come and want to see, you know what, I have a problem, I just wanted to. And when they do, they come like Nicodemus went to Jesus in the night. Awataki waonekane, Na wakiingia hapo, they come, they just want to sneak in and, sneak out, as it were. I think it's the way we have been socialized, that for men, we are all okay. Mbele iko sawa. Lakini mbele sometimes is not okay. So it is important for men also to come out and have themselves tested.
Thank you very much, Dr. And we shall see how we can pick up the matter of infertility in men, because that's one that is not so much spoken about, but this court is going to do some justice. Some of these stories are gut-wrenching, heart-rending. Some feel helpless because they can't change it. Hide the truth so society and your demands can't taint it. But some have conquered the stories and are like a love pageant, a runway of beautiful fate, but on the other hand, evangelists of stigma, pitiful hate. But medics say there are ways out, ways that have in some cases defrayed doubt. But truth is, for many, it's so costly. The kind of stuff that makes you see your hopes ghosting. Can the options for helping those dealing with infertility be more accessible, from costs to personnel and facilities? We hope that it can happen fast, then make the unhappy past. That will be just. Watch and see. Be the just judge. News Court.
Kutana na Januari, mwezi mkuu wa ukame, na wengi wenye usani huanguka.
Januari hii kuna up to 1 million Kenyan shillings za kushindaniwa kwenye star 570 hash. Cheza Lucky Game. Kumbuka every 100 shillings ambao unacheza nao kwenye Lucky Game inakupatia 1 entry ticket ya kuingia kwenye draw ya kujishindia up to 1 million Kenyan shillings. Na mshindi wetu namba 2 anapata 500,000 Kenyan shillings ambayo tutawatangaza on the 21st of January hii.
At star 5?
Ni star 570 hash au www.ebet.co.ke. January hii isikukaushe.
Join the Optiven family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optiven, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optiven's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Optiven, Inua Shamba.
Sign up with a promo code and get a welcome bonus. 1xBet.
New Nivea Luminous visibly reduces dark spots. Does it really work? Trust me. For post-acne marks too? Of course. World's #1 anti-spot expert serum, now for post-acne dark marks and age spots. Visible results in just 2 weeks. That means also for my age spots. Already worked for over 1 million women. Nivea Luminous 630. It works.
When you're finally released from pain, that moment when you start to get back to ordinary, and ordinary feels amazing. Whatever pain you're going through, release starts here.
is a kind of bank assurance intermediary that really allows you to relax because you know you'll be good. That's Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary for you. Get covered real good through Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary.
Kutana na Januari, mwezi mgumu wa ukame, na wengi wenye usani huanguka.
Januari hii kuna up to 1 million Kenyan shillings za kushindaniwa kwenye star 570 hash. Cheza Lucky Game. Kumbuka every 100 shillings ambao unacheza nao kwenye Lucky Game inakupatia 1 entry ticket ya kuingia kwenye draw ya kujishindia up to 1 million Kenyan shillings. Na mshindi wetu namba 2 anapata 500,000 Kenyan shillings ambayo tutawatangaza on the 21st of January hii.
At star 5?
Ni star 570 hash au www.ebet.co.ke. Januari hii isikukaushe.
Welcome back, and just a footnote on News Court. The submissions by Cecilia Karanja, who's a CEO of a facility that works with people who are battling with fertility and help with IVF, shall be on our online version of News Court tonight. Let's get into sports now. And Sofapaka left the relegation zone after a hard-fought 1-0 victory over Kakamega Homeboys. Batoto Bamungu climbed to 13th after Darius Msaga scored the winning goal to propel them to safety. He struck home in the 83rd minute to secure the team's 6th win of the season.
Cheza kwa kicha kiganjeni, Jacob Onyango! Bonga mwamba tena! Nelson Bokali, Jacob Onyango tena! Rogers Kipkemoi, bado anatisha.
Jacob Onyango aliupiga ukaubabatiza mlingoti ule.
Sergeant Winnie Boynet from the Isiolo Kenya Defence Forces camp and Sergeant Peter Moneki from Nanyuki are the champions of the 43rd edition of the KDF Cross Country Championships that were held at the Ulizi Stars Complex in Langata. The annual event aims at selecting a team that will represent the armed forces at the upcoming National Cross Country Championships. Victor Wafula tells us more.
Peter Mwaniki, who finished third at the Valencia 10-kilometer race in Spain last Sunday, triumphed on home soil Friday morning while competing in the KDF Cross Country Championships. Mwaniki made his decisive move from the third lap, upstaging last year's champion and favorite Kibiwot Kandie. Mwaniki stopped the timer at 29 minutes and 51 seconds to finish first, with Dismas Lokira and Daniel Mongut rounding off the podium positions in second and third. Kandie finished at a distant 5th.
Imbi ilinisaidia vizuri na kugain experience na kunitoa uoga. Juu hata kwa roho yangu mimi nilikuwa nafikiria bingwa wa dunia ambayo ni Kibiwot Kandie amekuwa mbingwa mara 3. Nilikuwa nafikiria bado ni atakuwa mshindi. Lakini nimeshukuru Mungu amenisaidia. Juu sasa nimejiamini naweza make.
In the women's race, it was a nail-biting finish as Lily Boynet upstaged her closest challenger, Cynthia Chepngeno, to secure the Ploudis. Boynet clocked at 3 minutes and 25 seconds, finishing a second ahead of Chepngeno, who was second. Diana Chepkorir clocked at 3 minutes and 42 seconds to finish third.
Kitu ile ni push ni about teamwork. Tuliongelea kama timu Isiolo jana. Tukasema wacha tusaidiane ndo tubebe kikombe. Matarajio yangu ni ku make team either Africa ama World Cross Country kwa majaliwa.
Nanyuki emerged as the overall men's winner with 51 points, with Isiolo dominating the women's category with 42 points. Victor Wafula, NTV.
Former Manchester United forward Bebe's long-range free kick set Cape Verde on the way to a 3-0 win over Mozambique at the Africa Cup of Nations on Friday as the Atlantic Ocean island nation became the first team through to the last 16. Bebe opened the scoring with a dead ball strike from 40 meters just after the half-hour mark in front of 5,794 fans at the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium in Abidjan. Captain Ryan Mendes doubled their lead just after half-time, and Kevin Pina wrapped up the win with a stunning strike midway through the second half. Cape Verde's biggest ever AFCON victory leaves them on 6 points and means they are now certain to finish on top of Group B after they beat Ghana 2-1 in their opening game.
Capable of scoring goals, as we saw against Ghana. Long-range shot coming in! Oh, look at that! That is just